Everybody, how you doing again? Here we are again, number 25, back with Mr. Steele, Mr. Al, Elijah on the tech. We've been talking about longevity, and I thought this one was a good quote. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "A human being would certainly not grow to be 70 or 80 years old if this longevity had no meaning for the species." So what do you think of that?
Well, I think, you have to have a purpose. And I thought way back when I was a youngster, and I really didn't start thinking about the future until I think it was 11th grade. I never forget, I hit the wall. I was in 11th grade, and I didn't know which way I was going, and I went down and missed in the
How
army.
old were you then?
I was 17. I had to be 17. Yeah, it was about the time I turned. Yeah, so I was 17 in 11th grade. And because my parents had got divorced, and I was living with my aunt and uncle, and I didn't see nothing going on. How you doing there? And he told me, no, you gotta be 18 to go. So I said, okay. And then I went back. Then I started doing some thinking. I set up a plan for myself. I said, well, if I graduate, I think it was getting ready to turn 18. I said, if I can graduate from school, from high school, I'll go to community college, go to college for 2 years, and if I hadn't gotten drafted, I would go ahead and enlist. Because that was the time of the Vietnam War, and that was thinking about what happened to my father.
Mm-hmm.
He got drafted in his prime, So I kind of followed through with that. And then 2 years of college, went to the military. I was 20 years old. I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and because I was always thinking about the GI Bill. I knew about that, but I was blessed to go to Vietnam and come back in at least half a piece, and some folks didn't even come back at all.
Right, exactly.
And I came back, and it took me 8 months, a year to adjust. I adjusted enough. When I got out, I was able to go to community college and things like that. But you have to have a plan in life. You have to have a plan. And each one of the things I used to do, I used to have a 6-month plan, a year plan, an 18-month plan. So the goals, when I accomplish each one of those, then I start all over again. The 18-month goal became a 6-month goal, a year goal, 18-month goal, like that. And I did the same thing when we had a program. I had goals for what we were doing. If you ever noticed that we rearranged, about every 6 months we were rearranging what we were doing, and then the kids would say, "Well, we don't want no change." But I said, ease. I said I would always give them the word that next month we're going to rearrange how we do things.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to be aware. So you won't affect you, but this is how new procedures, and it increased the strength of our program because our students became independent students. Really,
right.
I mean, they started learning how to do things, things that they weren't doing before. Things became automatic.
Well, I think we got them thinking a little bit about that, where they became more ownership of their education.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. Ownership. Why do we have to come to school? Well, because your employer, if you're going looking for a job, then what first thing they'll ask you, are you going to school regular? Okay, because if you go to school regular, that means you're going to show up on the job regular. Right. And if you're not showing up on the job school regular, the guys would say, "Well, I didn't get the job." I said, "Well, which school? What was the first thing they asked you?" Well, they asked me what my attendance was like. Okay. Well, because I had to explain to them that people, if you don't go to work, people lose money.
Well, we used to use that concept, the world of work,
World of work.
and it was basically show up on time,
Yeah.
finish your tasks, follow directions,
Right.
like I say, complete what's put in front of you,
Right.
take some initiative,
Right.
be a little above and beyond. 'Cause
Right.
it seemed like mediocrity was being rewarded. If you did a little extra, you could move up pretty fast. I know when my own kids, they would get early entry level jobs, and then they did well, and they got promoted, if you
Right.
will, and moved up and built, and then you built that sort of experiences and tools and skill sets to be successful in the world of work.
Now think about all the teachers that we had that all of a sudden became administrators, and the one thing that they never did do is they never was in the trenches. You remember?
Not a lot of them. Really.
Okay, but they would it would, because they got the stuff. They wanted to tell everybody how you gonna do it. But if you have never done it, how you gonna tell somebody else how to do it?
Yeah. I
Okay.
know you told me not to go into administration, which I didn't listen, and I did, and it was a.
Well, let's check that. When you went into administration, when did you realize what I said to you not to do? When did you realize that it was going to be a problem?
When I started sort of kind of seeing the conflict in what was being asked of us and what was real to benefit students, and I'm not so sure that I began to question that, and saying, because I went in initially with thinking, well, I think like I have some good ideas. I want to be able to expand that to the teachers who then, could impact even more students. But what I found is that many of the teachers, they weren't really open to that.
No, because they were entrenched in doing what they were doing for themselves. Did you hear what I just said? They would don't change what I do. Just think about how many of the teachers never changed the format of their classroom.
Never. I mean, there were many teachers that taught so many years, and they did everything the same as the day one.
And you can remember what the students would say. The students would say, we're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
They would tell you, we're not doing nothing in here, watching movies all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that was easy for them because they didn't have to do no discipline. Okay, they took advantage of the student.
Right.
Okay,
and then as an administrator, that was hard to witness.
Okay,
that wore on me, and it broke me really.
Well, what you saw was the thing that you had to deal with, but you had to see it for yourself.
Well, that's true.
Okay.
I mean, you could always.
Did you ever say to yourself, why did Al tell me not to do that?
I think, when I started really questioning my decision and then making a decision that it was time to leave administration and return to the so-called classroom.
Let me tell you a story. And the reason why I came to that, I learned about administration. I remember way back in the day, before, when I had my administrative credential, back in the day, and I never forget the guy from downtown came up to Joplin, and he says, "We think very highly of you downtown, and we want you to put in for this vice principalship." I said, "Oh, okay." So I went out and did my research and did all the kind of things, and so, and I realized, and I already knew that all I wanted was an interview. Okay, I knew I wasn't going to get the job because the job was already set up for somebody. Didn't even get an interview. All they needed was 3 people to put in for the job, so they can legitimize the thing. And that's when I realized that I'm not gonna be a party to
I was
that.
gonna say you were just gonna be a pawn in the game.
Part of the game, and that's when I dropped out. And that's when I said, even though I had a master's in educational administration, I did not go and get an administrative credential. Did you? I didn't have it. I did it on purpose. Okay, because when I came along, that's when they added the administrative credential along with the masters. Before it was just it came automatically. You got what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I said no. Then I said to myself, I'm a black man in this environment, and I said to me myself, if I go into administration, who's going to support me? What ideas are they gonna let me have? And I said no. I said no, you've already shown me what you really think of me. So why should I go that way? And that's the reason why I stayed right below. And that's one of the reasons why I was always happy to be with Mary Lou, because Mary Lou, as a principal, she guided and directed me. Okay. And people didn't realize that I used to call her every morning when I get to work every morning. That was my first phone call, and before I left the site, that was my second phone call. Okay, and people would always say, "You know this? Well, that Al Steele, he's a renegade. He's a this and that." But see, what they didn't know is that I understood what I needed to do to protect me. Not and I never did anything without permission. See, I understood that. See, people would say, well, he's over here, he's over, and I would say, I'm leaving such and such, I'm leaving today, and I'm going over here, I'm going over there, I'm going over here, and I'm going over there. I remember the only time I ever got written up was by this guy that, I don't know where he came from, but he came through when I was on the editor site. Mm-hmm. And he came through and he says, I'm writing you up. I said, well, why? Well, you're late to work and you leave early. I said, okay. And I said, okay, no problem. And he, can you explain why? And I said, sure. I said, on my way to work, I follow the kids coming through. And I said, when I leave early, I go to ROP to check on students. Okay, by the time I get done with that, and I don't charge overtime. He said, oh. I said, I'm not stealing money. I'm not the one that steals the money. Okay? But if you have a plan in what you're doing and you follow through with it, you're okay. But that's part of the longevity is that you have to have a plan. And you have to stick, and if your plan works, stick with it.
So you've been retired how many years?
15. So I've been retired 9 years.
9 years.
9 years. Yeah.
And what is different in the quality of your life or the substance of your life in the last 9 years compared to what you were doing prior to that?
I'm doing Al still. I'm doing Al.
And is that something you feel like you earned?
I earned it. I'm doing me. I've done, my children, my relatives. I'm giving them a greater portion of me. Now I'm doing me, and I'm taking care of myself in the twilight of my life.
A lot of times, there was that talk about people who were like you, for example, that worked all those years, devoted all that time to your career, your profession, and then people would retire, and then within 6 months they had passed away. But you have lived additional 9 years since you retired, and like you said, you're in a good place.
Well,
what's the difference? Why some people died, or was that just coincidental, or was there some association with the fact that they were not doing that work anymore, or what?
Do you remember I used to say, I'd say I'm going to Northern California, mm-hmm. and I say I'm going to San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I used to travel.
Yeah, I know.
I used to travel. My cousin up there, she was had cancer,
Mm-hmm.
so I used to go up and see her. I try to get up there every other month or so and spend some time with her before she
This was
passed.
after you retired. You
No,
said.
no, this is before I retired.
Before you retired.
I'm talking about before I retired. I did all these things.
Right.
Okay. Hey. I did all these things. Okay. And because I knew that one day I was not going to be able to do that.
Right.
And the people that wanted to see me, they were going to come. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And the people that have wanted to see me have come.
Mm-hmm.
But can you see me getting on the freeway now? And okay.
I'm gonna get it a water myself. I'm 70, but yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was able to, at that particular time, think about this, Elijah. How often did you see me in San Diego?
Not much.
Huh?
Not much.
Because you was never around. You never see me at the house?
Couple times.
Huh?
Couple times, yeah.
Yeah, the couple times you came around. Okay, but how often do you think I was there?
A lot.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? And I would do that for a reason. Okay, I would try to be able to share information with the younger folks and try to get them answer questions and things like that. But getting to that point, 9 years, I've been doing me. I mean, I've been fortunate that I have a nice place.
Right.
I have, I got Sarah does my shopping, my laundry. If I need to order some food, she'll order my food. And Lourdes is my masseuse. And she, matter of fact, this morning she called me. She's having a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have everything lined up, so I can take care of myself. As long as I can take care of myself, my daughters come. My daughters come in and we have movies. We watch the movies and stuff like that. And I realized that I can't go too far away from the house. I mean, you have to you have to be able to say there's some things I cannot do. Okay, and it's part of longevity.
I was gonna say it's kind of like having to let things go.
Oh man, this is my
I
environment.
mean, you sold your car because you're not driving
No,
anymore. You
yeah.
say that don't renew your license.
Yeah,
And so another chapter.
Yeah, I mean, you have to make the decision. Don't let somebody make the decision for you. When people make decisions for you, how do you feel?
Well, I guess it just depends on where you are and what.
Well, think about no. Think about when people make decisions for you. How do you feel?
I'm not necessarily comfortable with it.
Okay,
Okay,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's better for what? You to make the decision on your life. Okay, because as you get older, you have to call the shots.
At what point does that stop?
When you stop breathing.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, I mean, I've simplified my life.
Right.
I love watch the sports, watch the football, watch the got my audio books, things like that. And you have to simplify. I mean, I just can't jump. Before I could jump in, you leave and I hit the road, and I'm gone for the weekend.
Yeah.
But you have to make the adjustment in life.
So, if you were going to give advice, guidance to people that were approaching that stage in their life, where they have to learn to start giving some things up, what kind of advice or guidance would you give to people who are approaching that point in their life? From your experience,
prioritize what's important to you. What is important to you?
Mm-hmm.
See, my granddaughter is 30 years old. See, but your grandchildren are little bitties.
Mm-hmm.
And see, and if I'm not mistaken, that's really important to you.
It is very important.
Okay,
it is the most important.
There you go. Okay,
that's my priority.
Yeah, that's your priority, and you want to be able to be there for the little bitties. They go here, they go there, and papa here, papa. Yeah. Okay, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In it before I stopped traveling. One of my priorities was at least once a year go down. There's my daughter in Texas, and she see, Daddy, can you come in? I said, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, right.
I cannot.
Was that hard to make that decision?
Oh yes.
What were your feelings about
Well,
that?
remember the last trip I took?
Yeah.
And that killed me. That almost killed me.
Yeah, I know. I remember that. Yeah,
Okay.
that was a bad experience.
Okay. And the thing that they're not looking at me as being 80 years.
Yeah.
You can get in a car,
Just do it, right?
Okay.
Just do it.
I mean, I can't. If I gotta go on a long trip, I gotta get the adult diaper, baby.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, but I can't sit in a car that long period of time.
Right.
Period. Okay. And so there's some things that you have to be able to recognize the things that you cannot do.
And to come to terms with that.
Come to terms with it, see, I'm okay with it.
That's good. That's
See,
important.
that
would be good advice.
See,
I'm okay with
I'm
it.
okay with it, but if you're not okay with it, I can't help you. Okay,
Right.
okay, and during football season, they come over and we watch football games. Okay, which is, or we come over and we watch movies. Okay, Daddy, I can't go over there to the movie theater.
Right.
Okay, there's some things that I can't go to the
How
restaurant.
how do you feel that your daughters are dealing with that in their own?
Oh, you know what?
They understand that.
Well,
They-
I think they do in their way. But see, I'm not in their lives that way. You know what I'm saying? Some parents are saying, no, they're living their life. They've always been able to live their life.
right.
Okay. Okay, and I'm not one of those parents say, well, baby, if you don't do this, baby, I'm just, the guilt trip. You know what I'm talking about? No, I don't. I tell them that.
I know.
Hey.
I might.
I'm telling them, you live your life, and if you want to come see me, okay. They want to do the road. Hey, I'm gonna go to the road. We'll go on a road trip. I said, do you understand that I can't do that?
So they're asking you to do it.
Yeah, but I cannot do that.
Is that hard for you?
Well,
Come to terms with it?
it's hard to say
There's an adjustment there, right?
no to your child that wants to spend. So like Terry wants to go to San Diego, and I said, well, if I get the right adult diaper and and sit in the back and I can lift my legs out, okay, we'll try. Okay, because it used to be dropping a hat, we go to Santa Barbara.
Right.
We go here, we go there. You know what I'm saying?
But when you talk about it, you've had those experiences.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Did
part of them.
you hear what you just said? I had those experiences, and I appreciate the opportunity to have those
The
experiences.
memories and the
Yes,
reveries
yes,
about
yes,
it.
yes. But you had, the thing that the divorce did for me, I had to let my children go. I had to let them go. You get what I'm saying?
Talk about that, the divorce, and then what, as you said, I had to let my kids go. What was that?
I was not in the house. I was not the main person that was doing that.
And what were their ages?
Senior in high school, freshman in high school, and first grader.
First grader.
Okay, and every other weekend with the high school kids, they had a car. So they, I said, hey, go do you. Okay, then when the baby got to be 12 years old, she was in Girl Scouts. So I said, hey, go do you. Go do you. It's more important that you do the sleepovers and the da-da-da-da-das. You don't have to worry about my weekend,
Right.
And we did I remember we had the father-daughter thing with the Girl Scouts. I said, okay, that's no problem. The weekend, that kind of stuff. But you have to be, you have to be cognizant of what you're doing with your child. Sometimes you see some parents that, they want to hang on to the child and make the child give them the guilt trip. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
The guilt trip. No, let them go.
Yeah, it is a truth to that about talking about search for truth. And there's a certain truth to that about that, having to let them go, and they have to let you go. It's not just you letting go of them; they're having to learn to let go of you.
Look at your adult kids.
Right.
Okay, if you had not, you gave them foundation, and then they went ahead and did what? They went on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then once they got out there, they did okay.
Right.
They did okay, but if they needed something, they knew where to go. Okay,
Right.
it's just Ben and I talk about all three of our children when they got grown, we never had to pay a bill for them. Never had to pay one bill.
Right.
Not
They stood on their own 2 feet.
not one bill. Okay, I'm saying to myself, they figured it out. They got their own apartments and got their own properties, and they live. Each one has their own property, and they each live their lives the way they want to live their lives.
But they have been able to carve out time for you.
Oh, yeah.
On their terms.
And their
your
terms,
and your terms too, right?
Well, my terms, I'm always here.
Yeah.
And you come by anytime.
Right.
Like Terry will call me and say, Dad, blah blah blah. I said, okay, let me put my clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be. You come on over and we watch a movie or and order some food or something like that. But when they want to come over, it has to be. I'll say, okay. I rearrange my thing, and because that's a blessing.
Right.
It's a blessing that your children still want to talk to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Which kind of I found another anonymous quote, but it's kind of sums up some of the things we've been talking about, and it's real short. But the quality, not the longevity of one's life, is what's important.
Yeah.
I you
agree.
had that. You had a good
I've had a good quality of life. I've had my ups and downs. But the thing about life, what I've learned, is that the uptime is far shorter than the downtime. And what you have to be able to do, you have to be able to adjust to the downtime, to regulate it, so that you don't get stuck in the mud. See, some people get stuck in the mud and they never get out.
So what does that mean?
Well,
Get stuck in the mud.
they keep regurgitating. Why? Why can't I get up? Why can't I?
Oh.
Instead of going forward and saying, "Hey, this is a loss. Let me figure out how I can make lemonade out of the lemons."
And that's where people are struggling in this country. Is They're not learning to let go of what was, and instead of embracing what is.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. If I sit here and think about all the bad things that's happened to me for the fact that I'm a black man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you think I would have been going forward if I'd brought that into our relationship?
Right, you wouldn't. I don't know if you'd allow me to be sitting on the porch with you, right, having one of your cigars.
You see what I'm saying? Okay, I mean, it even though you have not gone through those things, okay, it doesn't preclude me from us having a relationship.
Right.
I mean, all I can say is I can share it with you because you're never going to go through those things.
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
You
get that.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so why should I? What's the word I want to use? Why should I keep bringing those things up and be in the process of our relationship? You'll ask me a question, and I'll tell you exactly what happened, and keep on moving. Like one time I told you, I asked you one time, how many times you've been stopped by the police? Right. And you said, what, once or twice? Yeah. And I'm 80 years old. I've been stopped by the police about 30 times. Yeah. Okay, but what I did learn, I learned how to talk. I learned how to follow directions. Okay, I realized that in some situations I have no control. Right. And even at 80 years old, somebody's going to tell me what to do. I have to understand that. Okay, if I leave the confines of my porch, somebody's going to tell me what to do, and I need to follow their directions. Now on my porch, I'm in charge.
So, summing it up for today, this session, that's a basic truth of life. What you just said. 80 years old, people are still going to tell you what to
They're
do
going to tell you what to do every day.
under certain circumstances.
Right. And you have to be able to accept that situation. Now think about this. Accept the situation, and it may only last for 20 minutes. It don't last for a lifetime.
Right.
Okay, so sometimes people want to stand up for this thing, and this thing is only 5 minutes, instead of taking about what about this thing over here that's really important that'll affect you for 10 years.
That's a good advice,
Okay.
a good truth, and a good place to end on this one.
Okay.
So, thank you for that. Some good
Well,
wisdom there. And I'm saving a quote for that on the wisdom. So anyway,
Okay.
appreciate everybody's watching, and again, don't forget to subscribe and stay with us. So anyway, nice talking to you again.
Okay, nice talking to you.
Peace
too.
out.
Peace out.
Those of you that are out there listening, subscribe to our page so that you can get the notifications of when we're going to record again.